Yeah, we talk about these conflicts constantly, and we talk about, the number of casualties or civilian deaths, and you know, it's very kind of removed from the actual death and destruction. Because I was just seeing on Twitter just some of the Kursk incursions, like obviously I do not support the Kiev regime at all, and these people that invaded Kursk and they committed terrorist acts, killed shot a pregnant woman, an ambulance, this type of thing. It's awful, but I saw videos of these guys running through the woods, being hunted down, and getting blown up, and it's so horrific. I hearing this,
Yeah,
they take cover, and I
right.
hear this Ukrainian soldier screaming for his mother over and
Yeah,
over
yeah,
again,
yeah,
and it just then eventually gets quieter and quieter. Just the horror
yeah.
of war.
Right,
People need to be reminded of it. I think it's
right,
such an awful
right.
thing to see and listen. And
Yeah,
this, and we take sides, like, yeah, let's go Ukraine,
right,
or screw
right,
Russia, or yeah, let's go
right,
Putin, or whatever. And people kind of forget just how horrific it is that that's
yeah,
somebody's son. That person maybe
right,
had kids himself, had a wife,
right.
and to die in such a horrible, horrific
Yeah,
way for nothing. That's the thing.
right,
And this is
right,
just a microcosm. This is just one
right.
boy I heard
Yeah,
screaming and dying
right.
for his mother and
Yeah,
dying. And we talk about 2,000 casualties a day now on the Ukrainian
yeah,
front. So people that are saying that they're pro Ukraine, this is not pro Ukraine. This is just
mm,
killing what few men are left in Ukraine. If you have any compassion, you have to stop this idea that we got to fight to the last man. They don't want to fight. We've talked about this before. I saw a video yesterday of a van rolling up and grabbing a guy off the street of Odessa and throwing him in. He's screaming and trying to fight him. This it's just, and then what might happen is what I saw this kid screaming for his mother in the woods just in a couple weeks. This is not helping Ukraine. This is not saving Ukraine. This war is clearly over, and we just keep it going. We just say you got to keep fighting for what?
mhm.
Just so that maybe it will help Kamala in the election. I don't know. It's just it's evil is what it is. And then we see what's happening in the Middle East. You see kids just being blown up, and people just get so rah. Yeah, go Israel. You gotta turn them all to glass. I get comments on that on our videos. Yeah, we just turn them all into glass. Just bomb them, and it's just I don't know how I as much as it's horrible to see these atrocities of war, I feel like they need to be put more front and center instead of us
Mhm.
just talking about, oh, there's an incursion. Yeah, there
Yeah,
were
right.
2,000
Yeah,
men here, this, and to see that just how awful it is.
right.
And we're
Yeah,
expanding it. That's the problem. Now we're creating that, you see that microcosm of death and pain, and we're just
mhm.
multiplying it every day by not wanting to stop these conflicts. Like we it's a sad state of affairs, and people are getting swept up on as like it's a big game instead of
Yeah,
realizing that these are real people that are dying horrific deaths that had their whole lives ahead of them.
right.
It's
No, no,
just
you're completely right. Yeah, sometimes, yeah, I have to remind myself of that. We talk about the horror of Gaza, um, but there is a horror of Ukraine. It's different. Um, again, the Gaza war is a war waged by Israel largely against civilians, and that's a particular kind of horror. The war in Ukraine is more of a traditional war waged between armies, but it's still a horror. You're right. I mean, it's not it's it's still a tragedy that all these young men are dying. Um, as is a terrible tragedy.
half a
Um,
million Ukrainians,
yeah,
right, are
right,
dead. Like that's
right.
so many. Like, I mean, we see what is happening in Gaza. I mean, according to the Lancet, maybe we're around 200,000 now. Who knows what the actual? And it's horrific, but
Right.
it's a
It could
lot in
end up being a
Ukraine.
lot more than half a
Of
million,
course,
right?
right. It's more horrific in Gaza because we're talking about a lot of women and children. But I mean, these are young boys as
Right,
that a lot of them don't want to fight. That
right.
they have a right to live too,
Yeah,
and we just say, oh, it's all Russia, it's all Russia. It's like, no, we there's been ample opportunities for peace. Russia keeps on trying to give offers to negotiate again and again and again and again, and we keep on shutting them down. And we have Lindsey Graham
Right.
saying, "You got to find more men. Keep on fighting. I'm so proud of you. Look at what you've done." It's just sick. Like that guy is that guy. If
Yeah.
there's anybody that deserves to be in hell, it's somebody like Lindsey Graham
Yeah.
and Netanyahu.
Netanyahu. I was going to name Netanyahu
Netanyahu's got a
too.
special seat down there, I think.
Yeah. Right. Right. No, no, it is
Uh,
a horror, and you're very right to bring it up. I'll notice, I follow the Slavyangrad Telegram channel, and it's um, often there are images. Fortunately, they're blurred out. You have to, click on the image to actually uh, see the bodies, because that's usually what it is, or the Ukrainian soldier being killed. I never do it. I just and sometimes, okay, it's not. Yeah, sometimes you get these kind of celebratory comments, like more Ukrainian militants go to meet Bandera or something. It's kind of describing it in a somewhat humorous way, and I never think that's appropriate.
no, no,
It
yeah,
just you say that this is a tragedy. No, I can understand, you know, this why this war needs to be fought, because it really is an existential struggle, especially for those people in eastern Ukraine, who it, it who need to who are or who have been subject to this horrible, Kiev, Nazi or Banderite, I think is probably the best way to put it, Banderite regime that really does want to snuff out their culture, and if they resist, has no qualms about killing them. I mean, again, we had another attack on Donetsk city, constant, shelling. It just shows there is that murderous element. There is a genocidal impulse, yeah, on the Ukrainian side too, and these people have to be protected, but it is done at great cost. Not everybody by a long shot. I would say probably the great majority of those Ukrainian soldiers are just normal human beings, no better or worse than the Russian soldiers that they're fighting. There is a there is a minority that holds a disproportionate amount of power. The Banderites, who really are homicidal maniacs, and but they're not all of Ukraine.
right.
And yeah,
Unfortunately,
we shouldn't celebrate the death of the average
yeah,
Ukrainian soldier. It is a
no, no,
tragedy.
yeah, yeah, it really is. My heart was really, yeah, it
Yeah,
was wrenching seeing it, and
right.
these Ukrainians die in such horrific fashion.